Okay, I'm back with a Dunlop motor, 1/4, Jesus, I can't talk today, a third horsepower, just regular 115 volt motor. I was using this on my Seneca Falls lathe, and I was running the lathe trying to work in the bronze bushings I made for the headstock and running it, and then I, shut off, and next day when I came down to start it back up, turn it on, and nothing. So at first I thought it was the headstock seized up. Not seized up, but was the bushings were a little tight. And no, it turned up this motor just totally locked up. So take it apart and see what's wrong with her. I'll bring it along for the ride. Okay, first things first, get the electrical cord out of the way. I know this is gonna just need bearings, but I have to take it apart to find out what bearings they are. That's about the only thing it's gonna be. And take my good old magic marker and mark the stud. That's the black wire. Put a couple marks in there. And when I put this back together, I will get a 3-wire cord and use that, because I don't like not having the motor grounded. Something I always do, I always put a grounded cord on anything electrical, especially with a metal body. So I will change that. I'm not sure how old this motor is. It came with the lathe when I bought it. And it was quiet too. Mark the wire to the black stud just to know. Usually goes back together in only one way because that's how they're rested, but I believe in marking everything. I'll probably end up spinning a 3rd horsepower motor. Never could stall it. Always seemed to have plenty of power, so I never really did any major cutting on this lathe yet. Just got it running. We'll see. I like it. Tell us this lathe was used for wood before I got it. Whoever I got it from, they said his grandfather used it since the 50s, just using it on wood projects. So when I got the lathe, it was covered, everything was covered in wood dust, and so was the motor. So I think that the history is being shown with the evidence here. Everything's covered with dust, and so that's probably why the bearings, this is sealed bearings, so they have never been oiled because you can't. And just probably dust has worked in there. And when I ran it finally for the first time, and I guess I owned it for like 5 years before I even ran it. It was sitting for decades before, so this motor probably was just sitting around doing nothing for a very long time. And I just mark certain areas so I know how it clocks back together. Usually doesn't make a difference, but I find it easier to clock things correctly. I don't know how this is going to come apart with the bearings seized as they are. I have to get some love by a hammer or two. Jeez, yeah. Sawdust is definitely a problem. How about that? I know I've blown out this motor before. I just, with the, my battery operated blower, I always blow out electrical motors. So, yeah, I guess we can kind of figure out what the problem's going to be here. There's the start clutch. Seems to be free. There's some set screw marks on the shaft. Should clean off before I pound it off. Oil here. Do not leave your little bottle of squirt oil on the press when you're pressing. It crushes it, but it still works. A lot easier. Yeah. I think that's why the bearings went bad. Amazingly enough, this thing ran perfect. Notice you have to blow this dust away here. Yeah, so much I should sweep it up a little bit. There's always a screw hiding. Never understood why they don't put these screws in from the other direction where you can get to them easily. All this electrical connection should be made in the back plate where it's accessible and easy to get to. So you have to take it all apart and put it back together in place to get to the bearings. But hey, I just take the stuff apart. I don't design and make it easier putting it back together. Just a little mark. Pretty self-explanatory how it goes back together, but you never know. Well, these are just bronze bushings. Totally surprising because this thing was frozen solid. So the good news is I won't have to order any parts. Just got to clean everything up and lube it up. I'll polish the shafts by looking at it. It's this front bushing that probably seized. The rear one doesn't look bad at all. Yeah, just a bushing. Yeah, let me clean it all up and see what I got. Bring you back. I'm gonna punch out the back and plug. Basically just set it on a socket. You know, a big 1/2-inch drive socket. And a 1/4-inch drive, old 1/4-inch drive, rusty. Extension has the perfect diameter again there through the bushing. It's just a little plug at the back to seal it up. Okay, good news. Once I basically got a very fine sponge sander and curled it up into a tube and cleaned up the bushings in there, and they're in good shape. Basically what happened is all that sawdust packed up there does have basically oil on port filled with a wick that they cap off. So I got the wick out of there, drilled a oil in hole, put the wick back in there, and after I cleaned it all up, the oil and grooves are still on there. Everything's in good shape. Basically just the sawdust got in there packed so tight, it was packed inside where the wick was too, and I think it just expanded when it got hot and squeezed it down. So I'm pretty sure of that. I have to oil it up, put it back together, and I can leave these holes uncovered and squirt oil in there to oil the motor because there's a wick in there, so debris won't get through that. It's like just a ball excuse me. So that's what I'm going to do. So it should be good to go. Let me put this back together and we'll see how she runs. Okay, back. Got the motor all back together. I did put a new 3-wire cord on there, so it's the case is grounded. I'm glad I did that because I had to take it all apart again, and during assembly, an old motor with that fiber covering on the wiring, it got pinched when I put the back casing on, so I had a short blue breaker. So test it and had to short the ground, so I took it all apart, found it, so I just wrapped that with a piece of tape for now. What I usually do is take it all apart and just get shrink wrapping and cover all the original wire in shrink wrapping, because it's, it's a pain to rewire everything. But usually, the wire is good. It's just that cloth covering that they put on 50 years ago. And I don't know if this is the date or not, but so it says Roebuck and Company Dunlop motor, and on the tag down there it says 0549. So I don't know if that's the 5th month of 1949 as the date. It's, that's what I'm guessing at, and that works to be about what I was told. The guy got this from his grandfather, used it for woodwork, and the guy said from the 50s on. And this definitely was not the original motor to the lathe, of course, because it used to be a belt-driven lathe, but the guy says he put it in the barn and used it for turning wood since the 50s, and this is a 1949 motor, so I'm guessing that that's correct. Like I said, all I had to do is clean it, oiled the bushings. This thing spins freely. I have a little homemade electrical tester here, and it fires right up. It's 117 volts, 6.25 amps, 142.9 watts, and thing works great to start. Clutch switch works great. Clean the contacts on that, and I mean it shuts. I mean instantly the thing spins up, it shuts off. It's not even there for half. I can't even get a reading on what it draws for startup current, and shut it off thing, and this thing just spins and spins and spins. Still spinning. Yeah, the clutch just released. That's the speed it takes to release it. Nope, my light just died. Yeah, this thing is pretty good. Change batteries here. So another success. Nice and quiet. It has a slight vibration, but that's, there's no bearings in this thing, so it's probably just this, pulley that's a little out of balance, but there's no playing it up and down, side to side, front and back, of course. But so that was a successful rebuild, so I'll mount it back up to the lathe, and now I can get the lathe back up and running and finish the fitting all the final bronze bushing bearings and everything, get it to run like I want, basically as smooth as this. This is what I'm looking for. But a little tight on the lathe. But that's it. Have a good day. Yeah, there's the motor just temporarily thrown in there to run it. Yeah. Got the little belt flap noise there. Has a dead spot in the belt from sitting on a pulley forever. Turns out to put the oilers in. I got one oiler for this, and I have to get another one that broke on this one. So I put the oilers in, but I just filled up the holes with oil. And this bearing back here, it's bronze bushing, is good, fits perfectly. No, this is a roller bearing back there, excuse me. And this up here is a bronze bush I made, and I thresh washes on both front and rear because I need the space anyways. So I just have to get this one a little, either breaking in by running it, or just polish up a little bit more. I've already taken it apart and polished it once. I just want to get it freely spinning once it's hot. It gets a little tight when it runs. That's why I'm running it now to see if it's still getting tight. I haven't ran it in like 6 months since the motor died. Not even 6 months, 3 months. So I run it, see it is, but the oil's making it out through the bronze bushing to the rust washers on the outside, so that's good. I did run the table, oiled all the ways and the cross feed. It's been sitting a while. I should have cleaned off all the bronze dust on there, but like I say, I just decided to play with this for a few minutes this morning. running nice and smooth. Happy with the way it works. Everything works. The cross and the power cross feed works, both directions. The table feed works, the carriage feed. So it's there. My next step is I have to move it upstairs. I'm in the basement shop. Move it upstairs and finish it off up there. You know, I have to disassemble it to get it upstairs anyway. So all the finish adjustments I'll make when I do that. But runs good. You know, one of the gears for the power feed in there. There's, you know, the two gears. One's the teeth are getting pretty sharp, so I'm gonna have to definitely either fix that or just what I probably just do is put a second motor for the power feed. Just get rid of that power feed anyways. It's so noisy. All the gears are on it. It's a noisy setup. So I think I would just put a power feed reversible motor down there, adjustable, so I can control the speed and use it like that. Not bad for a 120-year-old machine.